long day, but that up there, that's the end game. How are you guys planning on beating that?
Together.
We'll lose.
And we'll do that together too.
Why would you do that?
We're in the end game now.
What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on the Avengers 4 trailer. So we're going to break down the trailer in full depth and then go over some common questions at the end about the trailer. So if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to enter the latest giveaway by subscribing to the channel and commenting down below who is your favorite superhero down below, or villain if you like. So you could either win an Infinity War Blu-ray, Ant-Man and the Wasp, or Deadpool as Super Duper 2. So who loved this trailer? There's a lot more going on in this trailer than people originally thought. So we're gonna go over every single scene. So just like Tony Stark said during Age of Ultron, we're in Endgame. During the Tony Stark we'll lose argument scene, Age of Ultron, Tony said this: "We're the Avengers. We can bust arm dealers from all over the world, but that's the Endgame." Then during Infinity War, just after giving Thanos the Time Stone, Tony asked Doctor Strange, "Why would you do that?" Doctor Strange simply replied, "We are in Endgame. It was the only way." So everyone thought the title would be Endgame from the scene in Infinity War where Doctor Strange actually said, "We're in Endgame." He will be key to defeating Thanos in Avengers Infinity War Part 2, which is Endgame. But for months, Marvel's tried to trick us, misled us, lied to us. It's interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of this title, but it is interesting. The reasoning of why they misdirected us, said stuff like it's never spoken in this movie. So at one point, everyone was thinking it was Annihilation. And it's interesting because they said the closest thing was Avengers Forever, which is absolutely nothing even similar to Avengers EndGame. So let's get into this trailer. So Endgame implies that everything is going to be done after Phase 4 and the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is never going to be the same again. So it's interesting the title that they've given this. They made you click into it before you could get the title reveal. So it's called Marvel Studios Avengers Official Trailer. I personally think they should have revealed the title for this movie back when they initially called it Avengers Infinity War. So the trailer starts focusing on Iron Man. The color tone sets a kind of depressing state that it's dark. It's dark. It's like the DC. No, it's not like DC. It's dark. So he turns the helmet on and it appears that he's accepted death. He's sighing to himself and he records a message for Pepper Potts. "Hey, Miss Potts, if you find this recording, don't feel bad about this part of the journey is the end." During this scene, we see the space shuttle is floating through space. It's the same shuttle from the Guardians movie. Infinity War ended with half the universe turning to dust, but Tony and Nebula didn't turn to dust. The last time they were seen were on Titan. So just for the record, being adrift in space with zero promise of rescue is more fun than it sounds, says Tony Stark. So rescue is a key word here. They've used this for a reason. We know Pepper Potts will suit up in this movie. We've already seen a little of what Pepper is capable of in one of the Iron Man suits in Iron Man 3. So fans of the movies like me are eager to see what Pepper is going to do in Avengers 4, which is called Endgame. So the last thing that Pepper actually said to Tony was, before the call got cut off, you remember when he was like on his way up to Ebony Moore's ship, to the ship that was heading towards Dallas, "I'm going to." Just after Tony confirms that he's in a spaceship, this does imply that Pepper is ready to suit up and go find her man, who is currently trapped on trapped with Nebula on Titan after the finger snap, after the likes of Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Star-Lord, Drax, and Mantis, etc. disappeared into dust. So Tony Stark saying zero promise of rescue is more fun than it sounds is a cheeky wink, cheeky Easter egg, if you like, that Pepper is going to save him. We know from behind the scenes images that she said she had motion capture on her. There's even an image of motion capture on her. So we know she's going to potentially suit up. So I believe that's the reason why that was there. Food and water ran out 4 days ago. Oxygen will run out tomorrow. That be it. When I drift off, I will dream about you. It's always you. Emotional music playing throughout the whole scene. So based on his facial hair, this can't be that long after the decimation. If you read the prelude comic, it's called the decimation, what he did, the finger snap. If I'm honest, it seems like there's no time jump here. Logically speaking, if he was there for say 5 to 6 months, there wouldn't be enough food and water and oxygen on the little tiny Guardian ship, because they only went there to take Thanos out. They didn't go there long term. There's absolutely no evidence of time jump here. Yes, we know they've casted a older Cassie Lang, but at the moment the trailer is very misleading. There is no time jumps. So we're talking about at the moment, so it explains why he's there. So at this point we don't see Nebula on the ship, but we know she's with him. It's Tony Stark on the Guardian ship. From the minor footage we get, then he turns the helmet off, which looks pretty beat up. It's almost like Tony Stark accepts he will die. He's leaving a Pepper a goodbye message. So it's heartbreaking for Tony Stark. If you're seeing it through the character's point of view, if you're a big Iron Man scene, this will absolutely crush you. So people are saying there's not much being revealed in this trailer, but they really did nail what they showed you. So Iron Man and the Avengers EndGame, if you compare them, there are a lot of similarities. In the first Iron Man, he became Iron Man from being taken by terrorist adversity. He was in a very dangerous near-death experience. From what we see in the EndGame trailer of Tony Stark, it's another near-death experience. Because we know he's not going to die. He's just not. We know it. But the trailer's trying to make you think he could die. So will this event make him become the reborn version of Iron Man once again? Then we get the Marvel Studio logo that fades away just like the Thanos finger snap. That has now been confirmed in the prelude comic, like I just said, to be called the Decimation, which is pretty cool. And then we get a Thanos armor on a Scarecrow, which is directly coming from Jim Starlin's classic Infinity War comic book, pulling straight from the comic books, just like they have on Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2, but obviously they won't pull directly, because obviously if they were going to do the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, we would need the likes of Adam Warlock. So in the next scene, we see Thanos walking through a farm. That looks like it needs some work doing on it. The Infinity Gauntlet looks damaged still. Now, I was asked, would the damaged stones still work? In my opinion, no, because logically speaking, it wouldn't make sense from a storytelling point of view. We know from the directors that Thanos and the Gauntlet will be permanently damaged, but that doesn't mean that they won't be able to be used at all. So Black Widow voiceover. Thanos did exactly what he said he was going to do. Then we get a picture of the Avengers at the headquarters, and it looks slightly different to me. Slightly different, because half the universe is being snapped away. So the trees, the grass, the bushes. So potentially the gardener is no longer there because he was dusted. So maybe that's why, I'm only joking, maybe that's why it looks slightly different. So during Infinity War, Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, had long hair and a beard, which personally I preferred. But the first time we see him, he's crying. He's got no beard, no long hair. So did the Decimation finger snap actually erase his beard and give him a clean shaven, clean Steve Rogers look? I'm just messing with you, but it looks like that's happened. So the Black Widow voiceover says he's wiped out 50% of all living creatures. That number's very specific, of all living creatures. So does this mean grass, trees, animals? So he hasn't balanced the universe if that is the case. We see a crying, emotional Steve Rogers, which isn't cool. During this scene, we also see Bruce Banner And this is where it gets very misleading, guys. So on the screen, we see Scott Lang, Ant-Man, who is presumed missing and dead because he's not been seen. Then we see Shuri. Now, this is where it's very misdirectory because we didn't see Shuri disappear. And during an interview with Angela Bassett, she said her character and Shuri had survived the finger snap. Now, I don't know if she was told the wrong information or perhaps Shuri just isn't relevant to this plot. But when you think about it, she's really intelligent. She knows about Wakanda technology, vibranium. If any character who isn't Tony Stark and Bruce Banner could actually help in this situation, it would be Shuri. So it makes no sense, and I don't believe this scene at all. Comment down below, guys. Do you believe this scene? So we know Ant-Man isn't dead. He's stuck inside the quantum realm at this point in the trailer. Steve Rogers said, "We all lost, all of us," which is a very interesting line. We see the Avengers hangar from Age of Ultron. I believe this scene's been put here so that we know that a lot of the people working with the Avengers all around the world have been like decimated away. We see Thor looks like he's mourning the loss of the Asgardians, but also Loki. But as you know, I'm a massive Loki fan, and I cannot buy that cop-out scene of no, that is just, I just still can't buy that scene, really. We can't trust the directors because the directors said it wasn't Endgame and then it turned out to be Endgame. So we see Nebula for the first time, and it looks like she's on the same ship as Tony Stark, as it looks like she's touching him. When a voiceover of Steve Rogers said, "We lost friends, we lost family, we lost a part of ourselves." So that's why I believe it is a Tony Stark scene, what that she's actually with. So now we get the epic Hawkeye Ronin clip, which is pretty awesome. We've all known this coming. For anyone that doesn't know who Ronin is, it's the identity of Clint Barton, who is also Hawkeye, and I believe it's after the death of his family. The dialogue kind of suggests it when it said we lost family, we lost part of ourselves. So potentially he lost his wife. I can't remember how many children he did have children, so potentially he's lost his children, and the plot leaks do kind of infer that this has led him to his darker kind of assassin, embracing his new identity, which looks absolutely fantastic. And we had the Ronin leaked artwork throughout the last year, which has been verified to be real. And it appears that Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, is also in this scene, and it appears to be Japan that they're actually in. And if you remember a while back, we had a casting call for some Yakuza, and then there's a plot leak saying he was chasing some Skrull or something like that. But there was definitely a casting call officially for the Yakuza, which is awesome because we've all wanted this hurt version of Hawkeye for such a long time. We even see Captain America in the Winter Soldier vintage Captain America suit. No idea. This is the fight of our life, he says, whilst looking at Peggy Carter. So if you remember, he was frozen in 1945 and he basically couldn't, he was woken up many years later, so he couldn't live his life throughout this. This is the end game plan, whatever that plan really means. Doctor Strange is the only person who really knows what it means, because obviously he went ahead in time 14 million plus variations to see what was going on. Although Tony Stark did say it in Age of Ultron, I don't believe he knows what the plan is, but I think the fact that he said we're now in Endgame, Tony Stark will figure it out. So we get a voiceover now from Black Widow saying, "This is going to work, Steve, I know it is, because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't." Then we get the epic kind of Endgame title reveal, which I don't know if anyone who watches this channel, or if you're a new person on channel, actually noticed this, that the Avengers EndGame logo is actually forming from dust. Is it the dusted characters? I don't know. So then we get an end tag, which is pretty cool. Scott Lang appears, aka Ant-Man. "Hi, is anyone home? This is Scott Lang. We met a few years ago at the airport in Germany." This is an Easter egg, I guess you could say, to the events of Civil War. I suppose it's a joke because Ant-Man isn't deemed as one of the most popular Avengers, but maybe he will be after this. Steve Rogers said to Natasha Romanoff, "Is this an old message?" Ant-Man's like, "I know you know who I am. I know you know who Ant-Man is. I went massive." So it's just an Easter egg trying to promote his movie, I guess you could say. Then Black Widow's like, "It's the front door. Ant-Man, can you buzz me in?" Then the trailer ends and we get that Marvel is actually dropping this movie in April. And if you look online, it's April 26th. But from what I can see, it was releasing in UK on the 26th anyway, but I believe they are doing a worldwide release within 1 to 2 days to avoid spoilers, which is a very good way for them to do it. So Ant-Man escaped the quantum realm, or did he? At the end of Avengers Infinity War and the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, which happened concurrently, because when Scott Lang went into the quantum realm, half the world was decimated, so it happened concurrently. So he was stuck inside the quantum realm. Then, if you remember, Janet Van Dyne spoke about time vortexes and told Scott Lang never to use them or go through them because they're very dangerous. So the possibility of Scott Lang appearing in the current timeline is very unlikely. So is it really Scott Lang? There's a lot of hints and clues at the end that could infer it could be something different. Obviously, you see Star Archive at the top, which could imply a lot of different things. But I've got a Q&A section, and we're going to get over what I really think's happening in there. So let's get into the Q&A based on the community tab. So these are common questions. So Grace Lint4 posted this. Really want to know whether or not Scott Lang is a Skrull, or is it really him at the end? So we're going to be introduced to the Skrulls inside Captain Marvel, which comes out in March. Do I think the Skrull are going to be around in Infinity War and Avengers 4? Yes, I do believe the Skrull are going to be in the movie in some capacity, but do I think it's going to be an alien shapeshifter that's shapeshifted into Scott Lang? It's a really hard one to answer, because revealing that Scott Lang gets outside of the quantum realm in a first teaser trailer does give away quite a lot. And then the second question is this. So I don't really know. I don't think he's not. I'm going to say no, he's not a Skrull. So this is also a second question. So in the top left of the Ant-Man footage in the trailer, it says archive, meaning the video was from a while ago. And I'm guessing that this was in 2016, before Civil War, and everyone thought he was crazy deleting the footage, but in fact it's time travel with Ant-Man, thinking he's in the present and could recruit dead Avengers. So this was posted by Shez. So this is kind of similar to the first question about the end scene, because if you do zoom into it, you can see it says Star Archive, and also Captain America says, is this old footage? So it's trying to trick you into thinking that it's not new footage and it's kind of an old-ish scene. But the fact we know the Avengers are going to be there because it's the only place they can go back to, I don't really have many opinions on it. I mean, if it is, it could just be Star Archive because it's going to be a recording, an archive of the front gate. But no, I don't really think this confirms time travel. We already know that the multiverse and time travel will be in this movie. So King Panda posted this. Where is Rocket in the trailer? Well, this is interesting because obviously the movie went down the line of Rocket going with Thor. So I guess Rocket was in Wakanda at the end of the movie, if I remember correctly. So I guess they've just decided not to show him, and he could actually go up and save Tony Stark, or you can't really say the Guardians because most of them were dusted. So no idea why they didn't show him. I guess they didn't want to show that much. So we've got a question by X-Adapter Secrety 16. What do you think about Captain Marvel potentially saving Tony on her way to Earth? Yeah, this cool. That could be happening. That could be cool because we know that she can fly. In obviously the latest Captain Marvel trailer, we see her fly. She's also got a cosmic awareness, so she could pick Tony Stark up on the way down. But I honestly would prefer it to be a variation of Papa Potts coming in the rescue suit, because that would make more logical sense on what actually Tony Stark did say. And the last question on this bit is, do you think we see Worldbreaker Hulk finish Thanos off? No, I don't think Thanos is actually going to be finished off, to be honest. I think he's just going to be sent to another dimension or alternative universe, you could say. But I think we will see Worldbreaker Hulk, but it's more likely to be Professor Hulk, because that's the reason why Hulk didn't want to come out, because he only wanted to use them for power. But we definitely will see some variation of Hulk. I think it's going to be Professor Hulk and not Worldbreaker Hulk, because this is going to be the end of the 3-part Hulk story that started in Thor 3. So that's it for the video, guys. If I did miss anything, let me know. I'm pretty sure I picked up on 99% of things in this in-depth trailer breakdown. If you do want to enter the 50,000 subscriber giveaway, all you got to do is follow me on Twitter at Warstu, and send me a tweet on there to enter the competition for a Hasbro Infinity Gauntlet. And also, if you do want to enter the competition for the Blu-ray giveaway, all you got to do is comment down below who's your favorite supervillain, and you can pick a choice of 3 Blu-rays. So guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you have made it this far, make sure to share the video and turn notifications on. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.